Welcome to the season premiere of RamsTV, brought to you by Desjardins Securities. I am your host, Sean Kleisinger. I am glad to be back again for the 2017 season. And I know it's been a while since our last episode, but hey, we're back. We're ready to go. We are firing on all cylinders. And hey, we have a brand new segment coming up this week called You Are the Ram, starring Noah Picton and Eric Wachowski.
Flutter, and it's going to be intercepted. It's going to be intercepted. Has it down at Mindy.
I think we've all seen the passion that you bring. Thank you on behalf of the...
Sponsored by Desjardins Security.
Jensen this time enough in, and not only that, they call a touchdown.
Welcome to the brand new segment on RamsTV. This segment is called You Are the Ram. And basically how this game works is I'm going to ask a question to my two friends here, and they have to give me an answer of a name of a guy on the team who they think fits best in the question, if that makes any sense. You'll get to know it when we get going here. So I'm going to start first with Noah. Noah, who would most likely have a tantrum if they lost in a video game?
Throw a tantrum. I would say Mitch Thompson. I think he thinks he's very good at video games, but the problem is he's not as good as he thinks. So if you can manage to beat him in like a Smash Bros type of thing, he's gonna have a bit of a fit. So he's my answer. That's
Funny you say that, because I was just chatting with him at practice, and I actually asked him this question, and he was like, "That's totally me." Yeah. You know him good. You know your receiver good. All right, Eric. Who would crack an egg over your head if you were sound asleep at night at a sleepover?
Well, definitely Jens Johnson, but he's no longer on the team. Current players, I'd have to probably go with Nesbitt would do it for sure. Daniel Nesbitt.
Has Jens kind of rubbed off on Nesbitt? I feel like it's kind of...
Those two are hanging out way too much, and I think that's a bad influence on Danny, but I think Danny would now be the guy on the team to do it.
But hey, now you have to point at the camera and be like, Nesbitt, you are the Ram.
You are the Ram, Nez.
All right, Noah. Here's the next question. Who's most likely to read your iMessage and just be like, and not respond to it?
Maybe Shinbine. You know, he thinks he's a pretty cool dude. Sometimes too good.
Just like a pretty boy.
Too good for you. Yeah, it's like he always assumes he's got better things to do. So Shinbine, you're that Ram.
You're that Ram, baby. All right, Eric. Who would be James Bond if a new 007 movie came out?
This is tough.
Can't see yourself.
Oh, I was gonna do it. Man.
Who's like tough and sneaky and thinks they're real cool and tough and British and
Sneaky would be Mitch Picton. He's a sneaky guy. You never know what he's doing. The girls love him, so that's part of the profile.
So is he?
Mitch, you are the Ram.
All right, Noah. Who would most likely spend an afternoon building Lego houses on their bedroom floor?
Robert Abram, 110%.
I got a competitor here. Thomas Lill.
Hey,
Those are
you know Tom better than I do. I grew up with Robbie, went to high school with him, and he's a different cat. He's a very smart guy, but he seems like a Lego guy. So for me, Robbie, you're the Ram. Which has something else to say, though, I guess.
Me personally, I was thinking kind of like a Matt Dagelman type, just because he's a clown. You know, I can kind of just picture him, but hey, he's not my teammate, so. But you're the Ram, Robbie. All right. Next question. And it's for Eric, right? Okay. Who on the team could make or cook the best meal at home? Who could whip it up real good and satisfy all the company?
I've been to Zach McEachran's house. They throw some good meals. They eat a lot of food over there at the Jones residence. So I think Scott and Zach together over at the Jones residence, they throw a good meal. So
They're the Rams.
They're the Rams. Yeah. So Scott, Zach, you are the Rams.
All right. Next question here. Noah, your sink is squirting water everywhere, right? Who do you call to get it fixed?
Hmm.
And it can't be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, no, not A-Rod. I wish though. I'd like to hang out with him. Probably Mason Rosser. I think he owns a duct cleaning business. Seems like a pretty handy guy. You know, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think they relate too much, but he's good with screwdrivers and whatnot. I assume so.
If you could turn a screwdriver, you should be able to fix that sink up.
And you know, maybe just because I don't think anybody else on the team would be too great, so I'd probably trust Rosser with the job. So, Rosser, you're the Ram to fix a sink.
All right, Eric. This is our last question of the segment. Who was most likely the kid at your elementary school if these Rams went to your elementary school? Who was most likely the Ram that would just tattletale every single day and get you in trouble?
Bryce McKinnon, you are the Ram, baby.
I'm going to give Noah a shot at this. What's your one?
To tattletale on everybody. I'm gonna say maybe Adam Rask. You know, he's and that's not a shot at that's not. Yeah, I guess that's true. Something in the water out there, and that's not a shot at Rask, but I think he's always trying to impress the coaches, which is a good thing, good attribute, and he'll do whatever it takes to keep him happy. So he might be a bit of a snitch in school. No offense.
Adam Rask, Bryce McKinnon, Robbie Avram. What other some other names we had today? Thomas Slill, Mitch Picton. You guys are all Rams. We're going to be back next week to do it all over again. Thank you for watching. You are the Ram. Thank you for watching this season premiere of Rams TV, brought to you by Desjardins Securities. And yeah, it wasn't your typical episode of Rams TV, but I think we had some fun. We learned who would most likely play with Lego, who would most likely be the tattletale in elementary school, who's most likely to cook the best meal. It was all fun and games this week on Rams TV. And speaking of games, a big game coming up this Saturday at Mosaic Stadium. The University of Manitoba Bisons are in town to take on your Rams. 2 p.m. start time. The Regina Rams looking to go 3-1 on the year, and it is going to be a big game for them because it's the last home game for a while. So it's a pivotal game for the standings down the stretch. Until next week, I am your host, Sean Kleisinger. Go Horns.